a hatches plan, dislike for GBC, to deny GBC what is duly entitled to. I think that should not occur. What I would suggest that humbly submit that fair wages to do the needful. Rescind that decision, call for cool heads who can meet and deliberate. But such a unilateral decision, I think it is uncalled for, it is illegal, and cannot stand any test of law in this country.
I see. So, as a union, you have called on all your members to wear red armbands and attires to work for the following week as a sign of protest unless your demands are met. So, which means the whole of next week, you're going to be in red. Does that mean that the strike really will kick in the week after?
Well, definitely. If you see, our union will be so much patient. If we had a union, today would have been the start of the strike. Because when the issue came last week, we sent a hint thinking that they will reverse the decision so that we'll come to the negotiating table till they stick to their gun and it was implemented. What we are suggesting that we have also given another 1 week to wear red blood. My brother, if you're in our shoe, another 1 week was even difficult decision from our members. They were pressurizing the leaders to take their decision now and then. So that 1 week is too long for the workers of GBC to have such a patient because what are the conditions we find ourselves? Some of our members, they even have to strategically take a car from one point to walk to GBC before to work. These are so, you see, it is sad if you come up with the challenges, the difficulties workers of these organizations face, and you ask this for another week to ask the authorities, Fair Wages and Salary Commission, to come to the negotiation, to reason to wisdom that the decision was unilateral, is wrong, to correct it. To wait for another 1 week, it was difficult for the leaders, but our workers have understood us, and we will wait for that. But failure to do that, I think we will go ahead with that.
Very well. Thank you so much, Nat Kevo, Union Chairman of GBC, for speaking to us. They have served notice that they will embark on an indefinite industrial action if the allowances that they claim have been taken away or removed are not restored. We've been trying to reach the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, which is the body they are accusing of doing this. And as in when we get their response, we will make that known to you. Eyewitness News on 97.3 City FM. We'll take a short break. When we return, we'll tell you what the traditional leaders of Nogopo in the Volta region have been saying to Archbishop Ajinasari. Don't go away.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
You know, Papa, see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa!
Bobo, so how's your engine now?
It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Cause and you. Can't feel better energy. Can't touch this. Actually, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that.
Yes, so
somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched.
Sancho Panza. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz?
No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer.
Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency.
Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry. Chairman Mane. Chairman.
Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Eyewitness News on 97.3 City FM. Now, the chiefs and people of Nogopo in the Ketu South municipality of the Volta region have issued a 14-day ultimatum to the Archbishop Charles Ajinasari, who is the founder and leader of the Perez Chapel International, to appear before them to resolve a dispute arising from some statements he made. During a press conference to address the issue, Nufialaga Maufemo Kobla Nonyigbe, the convener of the community, expressed their concern over the lack of remorse or regret shown by the Archbishop. They believe that this indicates a deliberate attempt to tarnish the reputation of the people of Nogopo and to weaken the African traditional religion through religious intolerance. The statement continued that the utterances of the Archbishop about Nogopo being, quote, demonic headquarters, unquote, of the Volta region is rather unfortunate, as Nogopo, they say, is situated along the ECOWAS highway where thousands of vehicles carrying human beings and goods ply on a daily basis, but had not encountered any derogatory comment from such road users. The chiefs and people of Nogopo also called on the National Peace Council to help Archbishop Ajenasari appear before the Council of Elders of the Nogopo community within 14 days for amicable resolution. Just to provide you some update, the Archbishop, on the third day of the Supernatural Summit that he held at the headquarters of the Parish Chapel in Accra on Thursday, May 25, 2023, caused a stir when he preached about divine protection and the existence of evil forces. According to him, when they got to Nogopo, the ties behind or under the four-wheel drive they were using came out under the car or from under the car, adding that it happened after they had preached about witchcraft and destroyed their works on the second night of the crusade at Aflao. He says, quote, Nogopo is a demonic headquarters of the Volta region, or is the demonic headquarters of the Volta region. We only have not said it, but the second night, I made Bishop Edu talk about witchcraft, and we disgraced the witches and wizards. When we were driving from Aflao to Agbosme, immediately we got to Nogopo. Bishop Edu's four-wheel drive, the tires came out from under the car, end of quote. He added, quote, that during this crusade in Aflao, we slept at Agbozume. That was where our hotel was, and you have to go through Nogopo, and Nogopo is a demonic headquarters in the Volta region. But after those comments, the shrine made it known to all on Facebook that the Archbishop had prepared to face the music. According to Nogopo, due to the Archbishop, or what the Archbishop said about them, they have lost a noble investor prepared to start a business within the town. Eyewitness News on 97.3 City FM. We are working the lines to bring you some interviews from the elders of the Nogopo community who and obviously not happy with Archbishop Ajenasari, and bring you some other interviews on this particular matter. Eyewitness News on 97.3 City FM. We'll take a few of your messages that have come through so far. Daniel Akpaliok from Sandema says, the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission should first question the fat allowances the politicians are enjoying before descending on we the ordinary citizens. The masses of the Ghanaian populace are suffering while a few persons are enjoying. This is pathetic. Teachers will soon be requesting marking and vigilating allowances, you say. This one from says that Salom, the Archbishop could have narrated the incident without saying demonic headquarters of the Volta region. Why do some men of God crave for fame, you say? This is like piano and drums. Let everyone follow his path without any accusations. This is from Emil Akwensivi in Sojaman. Eyewitness News on 97.3 FM. So from the Volta region, we go to the Savannah, where some Gonja youth today besiege the residence of the overlord of Gonja, Yagbonwura B. Kununtu Jewu Swale, asking him to intervene in the ongoing clashes. The violence erupted on Thursday dawn following days of tension in the community over a pending arrival of a rival chief from Daboya in the Wasipi traditional area. The renewed clash is between members of the Gonja and Mamprusi ethnic groups. A 70-year-old Mamprusi chief in the Kuwerigo community, Na Salifu Nachina, died after being shot in his home. Our correspondent, Richard Fogo, for the Savannah region, joins us on the line to provide us some details of what has been happening so far. Hello, I'm Richard. Welcome to Eyewitness News. What is the situation right now in the community as we speak?
Good evening to you, Salam, and everybody listening to City News. The Lukula community, as I speak, of course, Lukula and MPSM have been deserted by residents who, especially all males in those two communities, have escaped because of the clashes that happened on Thursday morning. Some women have also left to neighboring communities to seek shelter peacefully, and so because most of their homes have been burnt down, and so even if they return, they have nowhere to lay their head. And also, the police, the security forces has taken over the area, but the people have not returned because one, they've lost their homes, and two, they're even scared of the security personnel because they are not sure whether they will be arrested as suspects, especially the males, or not. So Lukula and Mpiasem have not returned to normalcy. But the entire, Gunjaland, let me put it that way, is still in some high tension. This morning, as you rightly said, the youth besieged the residents of the Yabonwura to demand that he calls the paramount chiefs to mobilize their warriors and move the Boya to assist the Wasipi Ura and his warriors and people to, defend themselves and also defend the disputed land. They argued that police deployed to the town have been very biased, arresting only the Wasipi or Daboya youth, and no arrest from the Mamprusi area has been made. And so they believe it is the police are skewed in their actions, and as I speak to you, Daboya town is like a ghost town. The police arrived there at dawn this morning, arresting every male they see on site, young and old. That is because, according to the police, yesterday when suspects were arrested from the Lukula community in the midst of the clashes and locked up at the Daboya police station, some youth of Daboya, attacked the police station to free the suspect. So reinforcement was called in, and at dawn this morning, any youth that the police lay their eyes on is arrested. And we are getting reports that they were molested, made to lie down in the sun, rolling and whipping, pouring water on them. And we understand over 100 of them has been taken to Tamale for screening. So those reports getting out of the Boya into the rest of Gunjaland angered a lot of the youth who besieged the residents of the Yabunwura to demand that he takes action by sending warriors to, help ensure that what is happening in Daboya is halted.
So we understand the violence erupted following days of tension in the community over the pending arrival of a rival chief from Daboya in the Wasipi traditional area. Why is the chief arriving from where? And who is this chief? The so-called rival chief. Who is he? And where is he arriving from? Or was he arriving from if he's arrived already?
The name we have not been told, but what we understand since last week, that is how some people feel disappointed in the security agencies. Since last week, this tension has been felt in the area and in the region. The Wasipi traditional area, which are Gunjas, are claiming that they have traditional authority over the Lukula and Mpiasem and every other area, every other community in the North Gunja district. So the Wasipiura and still a chief for the Lukula community, which is being resisted by the Mamprusis. And if you go to that area, predominantly is occupied by Mamprusis, who initially, as far back as 2018, wanted to be part of the northeast region and not the Savannah region. But by virtue of the fact that they are already in the North Gonja district, they were still added to the northern region. So they are claiming that that area belonged to the Mampusis, and so they wanted to join the northeast, but that didn't happen. The Gonjas are claiming that the area, the communities belong to them. So the Waspewura, who is the paramount chief of the area, and skinned a chief for Lukula community. And we know that in 2019, there were clashes between the Waspe and the Lukula people over similar, reasons. So this has been raging on, and many people are surprised that the security agencies did not move into Lukula and Mpiasem to, ensure that this attack did not take place, and waited until it happened for the security agencies to now move in, because all over social media, WhatsApp platform, Facebook, these issues were being discussed. And I mean, it was obvious that if the chief was to move there, this was going to happen. So the chief was to move there from Wasipe, or Daboya. In Gunja, the skin is called the Wasipe skin, but the community, the town, is Daboya. That's where the paramount chief lives. So he enskined the chief for the community, and the chief was now to move into that community and take possession of the area on behalf of the Waspewura, and for that matter, Gunja traditional area. So that is the reason for these attacks that we saw yesterday.
So before the enskinment of this new chief at the Lukula area by the Wasipewura, what was the leadership structure or the traditional leadership structure in Lukula? Did they have a chief before, or this is the first time, a chief for that area is being enskinned?
That much I don't know, but what I know is that at least until now, I am not aware of a Gunja chief that was a resident in the community. But the Mampusis who were dominant there had somebody that they said was the chief of the area. And that authority has always been challenged by the Waspi traditional area, which is one of the reasons that led to the attacks in 2019, which led to the burning of, some houses. So that issue has not been settled. The Gonja tradition is such that you could have a chief stationed somewhere that has jurisdiction over a number of communities. So I am not too sure whether there was a chief in that area, especially like Mankargo, who was supposed to, look over the whole of that area. Because recently, some communities that had, let's say, 3-4 communities having one chief, some paramount chiefs have started enskinning separate chiefs for those areas. And so it might be what the Waspewura has tried to do. And also because the Mampusis are claiming that those communities belong to them, maybe they felt that in order to cement their authority over the area, it was important to have a chief resident in that community. I'm not too sure about that. I have not heard that there were previously chiefs that were enskined by Waspewura in those communities, because there is no history to that. But we heard that there is a chief who is a Mampusi that the people say is their leader, which is being challenged by the Waspe traditional area.
All right. So thank you very much. But can you give us a sense of the population in Lukula? How is the population there like? How many people are there? Will you know?
I can't tell the exact number, but it's not a very large community. Maybe in the neighborhood of 300, 400, 500. If you add the children and women, it's not a big community. It is much closer to Mankargo, which is a very populated area, and is just the boundary between Savannah region and Northeast passes through that area. So that is why all this is happening. And if you look at the statement that was issued by the Nairi, calling for government to take action and ensuring that the area is well demarcated, it tells you that the area just is in the middle. The community is just sharing the boundary with the northeast region, for that matter, Mamprusi West. So the conflict actually is that who has traditional jurisdiction over Lukula and Mempiasem. And these communities are in the North Gunja district of the Savannah region.
Richard Fogo, thank you so much for speaking to us. Richard Fogo is our correspondent in the Savannah region. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 City FM. More of your messages that have been coming through. This one from Prince Henry in Koforidua says, as much as we condemn the unfortunate comments made by the Archbishop Ajinasari, I would humbly ask my people in the Volta region, especially the people of Nogopo, to tamper justice with mercy on the comments by the Archbishop or the Archbishop. Wolanyo from Malijo says, why some men of God create dispute between the traditional leaders, or why do they create dispute between the traditional? If he is a true man of God, God should have reviewed the cost of the breakdown of the car. Well, that's what you say, Wolanyo. This one from Daniel, he says, good evening, Salam. So these sort of allowances actually exist in some institutions in Ghana. Teachers are being coerced to write lesson notes, work in the night as teachers on duty, mark scripts in the house without any commensurate allowance. Please kindly tell Akufo-Addo's government to consider the teacher. Well, that's in reference to the earlier story we did on the GBC matters in respect of the allowances that the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, they say, have been withdrawn. So, meanwhile, in respect of the Gunja matter, the flag bearer of the opposition National Democratic Congress, of course, he hails from that area. John Dramani Mahama has expressed deep regret and disappointment over the recent violent attacks on Mempasem and Lukula communities in the Savannah region. Former President Mahama, in a statement, acknowledged the distressing impact of these conflicts, recognizing the significant damage caused, the lives tragically affected. He also emphasized the urgent need for peaceful resolution and the restoration of harmony in the two communities. Eyewitness News on 97.3 City FM will take a short break, return with more. Don't go away.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
The other day, I visited Kweku at his spunky new office to congratulate him on opening his business. And man, was I impressed. The business is just moving quick. The sales, customers, everything is just working seamlessly. The secret? He said,
it's MTN Business Broadband. In this fast-paced environment, we need fast and reliable internet to support all business types. No laggy online meetings, great download and upload speeds, impeccable business management systems, all inclusive. I mean, you can have it all.
Sharp! I signed on immediately.
To enable your business stay ahead and stay connected, make sure you're signed on to the best internet made just for businesses. MTN Business Broadband. Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh and manage your account on my MTN app. Call 0244 308 111 for more information. We are good together everywhere you go.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Eyewitness News on 97.3 City FM. We return to our previous story on the Ajinasari matter, Archbishop Ajinasari and the traditional leaders of Nogopo saga. And we've been joined on the line by Nufialaga Mapomo Kobla Nonyigbe, who is a convener of the Nogopo community. They are asking that Archbishop Ajinasari presents himself to them in 14 days. We don't know what they will do after the 14 days. Join us on the line to help us appreciate the matters well. Hello, good evening, sir. Welcome to Eyewitness News. Yes, we read your statement today. We heard what you have said, but the the man of God, the Archbishop, has explained that he had no intention to cast a slur on the people of the Nogopo town and the Volta region as a whole. Shouldn't that suffice? Why would you want him to appear before you in 14 days?
Thank you very much, and a very good evening to your listeners. If you listen to what Archbishop Ajinasari said on, let's say, Sunday, it wasn't an apology. He rather came to justify what he said. And that is where we realize that he is taking us for granted. Or perhaps he thinks we cannot do anything. My brother, he made a speech and mentioned the name of Nogopo. In fact, he insulted the entire Volta region and then carved Nogopo out as the headquarters of all demons. The question is, can Ajinasari go to Asantiman and describe any town there as the headquarters of all demons? He dare not. He wouldn't. But chose to make Nogopo part of his business. So when we first heard the first video on social media and looking at the backlash he was having with the elders decided like, okay, let's be patient and wait for him and see what he will say on Sunday. But hold and behold, he came to justify his actions on the reasons why he said that. And that is where we realize that his intention against our people or tarnishing the image of Nogopo and the whole people of the Volta region, we have a serious problem with that. And we want him to come to Nogopo to explain to the elders where specifically is the headquarters of the demons.
So I mean, he has, he issued a statement on Sunday, and he tried to clarify the point he was making. And portions of his statement says that to drive home my point, that he was teaching on divine protection, which is a cardinal principle of the Christian faith, as charismatic Christians. So he says that to drive, and I'm quoting him, to drive home my point, I made reference to several instances where I have encountered manifestations of demonic powers in my crusades, which have taken me to over 92 countries of the world. I gave an example of people who were seeking to levitate during a crusade in India. I gave an example of an attack I suffered as a very young pastor who had gone to preach at a bus stop around Kolebu. So he says, in reference to Nogopo, I wish to clarify that I never intended to refer to the town, but to an incident that happened after a crusade at Aflao. I had absolutely no intention to cast a slur upon the people of the town. That appears like, trying to explain or clarify and assuaging the concerns of the elders of Nogopo that he never intended to cast a slur on the good people of the town.
My dear brother, he did. But this wasn't an apology, per what you said, to clarify and to justify what he said. My brother, Nogopo is situated on the ECOWAS highway. Every day, you have thousands of cars or vehicles carrying people and goods throughout the West African region. So if he and his co-pastors are driving from a crusade and they have a problem with their tires, which may be the result of lack of maintenance in their own car, do you come out to say when you are coming from a crusade because you spoke about witches and wizards, your car, your tire mess up on the way, and therefore Nogopo is the headquarters of all demons in the Volta region? My brother, this is very disrespectful.
Let me see if this will be respectful. In fact, he said that he's had cordial relationship with the people of the Volta region, and it's open. It's no secret really that his wife of 38 years is an Ewe from Keta, and indeed, it says his two sons bear Ewe names. And all the examples he said he gave were not intended to denigrate any of the towns and their people, but to elucidate the principle of divine protection to the congregants. Will you say that he intended to denigrate a place his wife hails from? Absolutely not. That's the point he's trying to make.
No, that is the point. He disrespected his wife. And he looked into our eyes as his in-laws and insulted us. No amount of grammar, no amount of English can change what he said. And we were expecting him to come up with a sincere apology, not for him to come and start speaking grammar to us. For us, we have given him the 14 days ultimatum. If he likes, he should come and do the needful. If he likes, he should refuse. Or if he refuses, he can decide to refuse. And we shall see who are the controllers of cosmic powers.
Oh, is that a threat? Controllers of cosmic powers, and we shall see who are the controllers. That obviously is a threat, isn't it? Nufialaga.
Well, Chief, with all due respect, what Ajinasari said have cast a dark shadow on Nogopo and the Volta region, especially with the youth who are struggling to seek for jobs, with our women who are planning to get married. With what he said will affect them psychologically on any means. We have instance. I can give you the number of the young man who had an appointment, went through, and he was called to come for his what? Appointment. Come for his appointment later. He only got there, they refused him. Immediately, Ajinasari made that statement. They refused him. So have you seen some of the implications in the statement? Whatever be, he to us, the Voltarians and the people of Nogopo. So him coming to justify his actions does not prove nothing to us. If he respected us as his in-laws and respect his wife, he will point his left fingers to his in-laws.
But Nufiala, we've seen and heard on many occasions where should I say inhabitants or residents or people who hail from the Nogopo area seek to use the name of Nogopo as a way of instilling fear in people around them. So will we say that what your own inhabitants or your own people do cast a slur on your town or on your own people? We've seen people say, "Me, I know, I'm from Nogopo. If you try me, you'll see." We hear all of these. So is this not, a similar thing we are seeing? Will we say that those things that your own inhabitants say, are in bad taste? How will you place that?
Now, It's not a matter of instilling fear in people. Everybody knows that the energy, the supreme energy, the thunder deity in Nogopo is the God of justice. So, if someone is doing evil, or if someone is doing something that is against the universal corrective forces, and you mention that, hey, if you don't stop, I'll take you to Nogopo. The question is, once that is pronounced or once that is said, do whoever is said to stop what they do? Yes, because they know that supreme energy, the God of thunder, the God of thunder, lightning, fire, and justice will come in to their rescue. We have a lot of people coming to Nogopo, people who have been to court to seek redress, both here in Ghana and outside and different places, who did not get justice that they want, have come to Nogopo and they've gotten the justice that they want. So it's not a matter of instilling negative fear into the people, but a positive one. Now, let me give you one example. Our first president, Dr. Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, when he was seeking, exploring every avenue for the independence of Ghana, after combing throughout the world, the last place he came was Nogopo, the temple of Tobi Zakaja, the god of thunder. He came there. Prayers were made for him. He made a vow that if the energy helps him to secure, to get the independence for Ghana, he will come and rebuild the temple. He came there in 1956. 1957, Nkrumah, our first president, the late first president, came to Nogopo to fulfill his promise. And he built, reconstructed that part of the temple he promised. It is still there. And the date was written there by himself. Sajifo, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, wrote the date there on the wall. It is there up to today. If this energy is a negative one, it will not help our first president. And for that matter, Ghana.
Very well.
That is why when people, when people feel...
Do I get the impression, and this is perhaps my last question, do I get the impression that the use of the term demonic is what riles you up? If he had said that is the cosmic powers headquarters of the Volta region, would you have looked at it differently?
My brother, what is the definition for demonic? This is something is demonic of headquarters. The Christian values. It is very negative. That is what I'm saying. But to say something like that, based upon your tie, having a problem on a major highway, that is where the problem is. It's not a matter of trying to reframe his vocabulary or his grammar or his English. We understand, we the people, the elders of Nogopo, we understand perfectly, or we understood perfectly what Ajinasari said in his first video and the second video. So, well, our message to him is clear today. We have given him an ultimatum of 14 days. If he's matured enough, then he should do what is needful.
If I may ask, if he fails to attend upon you, what would you do?
When we get to that river, we will cross it, my brother. You see, he who the gods want to kill, they first make him what? Mad.
But the gods do not forgive. The gods do not move on.
If you show remorse.
Well, he says that he says that any misrepresentation or misinformation that has characterized the subsequent commentary and reportage is regretted. So there you have it.
No, my brother, it's not any misinformation. The video was clear. The over 2 minute video was so clear. He was so specific. And you see, look at when he made that pronunciation, Nogopo. He has been, excuse me for my language, but I'm trying to put certain things in its rightful context. When he mentioned the name of Nogopo, because he has already prepared the minds of the people, so you hear the crowd shouting for him. And at the end of the day, he said things damaging a whole community. And Christian Council, the other people think it's okay. My brother, the disrespect for the African traditional belief system is too much in this country. And if Ajinasari will not do the needful, we shall use him as an scapegoat.
I see. Let's end it here. Thanks so much, Nufialaga, for speaking to us.
Thank you very much, my brother.
We are grateful for your time. Nufialaga Maupemo Kobla Nonyigbe is a convener of the Nogopo community. He's been speaking to us on a statement, press conference they held earlier today, expressing their disapproval on comments made by Archbishop Ajinasari. They deem derogatory of their town. Let's take a few seconds and listen to some excerpts from what Bishop Charles Ajinasari, Archbishop, has actually been talking about or saying.
During this crusade in Aflao, we slept at Agbozume. That was where our hotel was, or the room where. And Nogopo is the demonic headquarters in the Volta region. Honey, where did we sleep? The town close to Aflao. We slept at Agbozume. That was where our hotel was, or the room where. And you have to go through Nogopo. And Nogopo is the demonic headquarters in the Volta region.
Et le quartier général des démons dans la région Volta.
We only have not said it.
On n'a pas seulement dit cela.
But the second night,
mais la deuxième nuit,
I made Bishop Yawedu talk about witchcraft.
J'ai fait en sorte que un des bishops parle de la sorcellerie.
And we disgraced the witches and wizards.
Et on avait disgracié les sorciers et les sorcières.
When we were driving from Aflao to Agbozume,
quand on conduisait d'Aflao jusqu'à Agbozume,
immediately we got to Nogopo.
Dès qu'on arriva à Agbobo,
Bishop Yawedu's four-wheel drive,
le 4x4 de Bishop,
the tie came out from under the car.
Well, so that was Archbishop Ajinasari in a sermon on divine protection. He said he was explaining the essence of divine protection in the Christian or charismatic faith that the people in the Nogopo area have taken serious exception to. This Eyewitness News on 97.3 City FM. It's time for City Business News, and Netele Nete joins us in the studio. Netele, hi. Welcome to the program.
Hi, Selo.
Yes. Ready for you on City Business News.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. City Business News. Be informed.
Time now for City Business News on Eyewitness News, powered by citybusinessnews.com. Let's settle for the details now. The Ghana Cocoa Board is set to partner Cote d'Ivoire in harmonizing the pricing and trading of policies of cocoa to help deal with the smuggling of the product. Reports suggest that some cocoa farmers in Ghana have been smuggling their products to Ivory Coast for sale due to its lucrativeness in that part of the country. Speaking to journalists at the Cote d'Ivoire Ghana Cocoa Initiative meeting, CEO of Cocoa Board, Joseph Boahing Edu, announced collaborative efforts by both countries to deal with challenges confronting production of cocoa.
Globally, when you look at the cocoa value chain, there are very strong bodies. You take the World Cocoa Foundation, for example, comprises the topmost, chocolatiers, manufacturing companies. and they've constituted a body, and these are the multinationals, and they normally influence prices of cocoa. And even though you have the International Cocoa Organization, ICCO, it's also a body made up of both producers and then consumers or exporters and importers. That body cannot be handling issues for producers. So there's a need for us to get a body that will deal with issues relating specifically to farmers that are producers. And Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire producing more than 60% of global crop. We felt that there was a need for us to constitute this body. As I said, it's in its formative stage. I think we are making strides. One is that when we meet at such meetings, we want to harmonize price and then trading policies and so on and so forth, the marketing policies. These are the things that we look at so that, we try and then close the smuggling gap between Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire.
That was the CEO of Cocoa Board, Joseph Boahingedo. Meanwhile, the Minister for Food and Agriculture, Brian Champon, says the move seeks to protect the interests of cocoa farmers.
I think it's a way to solidify the roles that both countries have decided to play in securing a better space for cocoa farmers in our country. We recognize the output that we give the world of cocoa, and therefore our interest is to protect the farmers that are engaged in the production and then the revenues that comes to both countries. We also want to cooperate on research to expand on the product and to be able to expand on the trade. There are a few cross-border issues that we've been dealing with on the past, smuggling, adulteration, and all the issues. Meetings like this get us to talk frankly at the ministerial level and then at the head of state level, which is always a follow-up to this, to ensure that the issues that affect both countries and the farmers within the countries are fairly and squarely resolved. So it's a good platform in the Cote d'Ivoire Ghana Cocoa Initiative that allows us to discuss all issues cocoa and the role we play in the world of cocoa.
Brian Champon is the Minister for Food and Agriculture. The Ghana Stock Exchange is calling for increased empowerment for players in the formal sector, such as small and medium-scale enterprises. The GSC believes will stimulate economic growth and build robust financial ecosystems. Ms. Abna Amwa is the Managing Director of the GSC, and she's been speaking on the issue.
A strong financial system ensures that everyone has equal access to financial services. Whilst a significant proportion of our population remains underserved or unbanked, by promoting financial inclusion through innovative technologies and inclusive policies, we can empower our individuals, particularly our SMEs, our women and marginalized communities, to participate in the formal economy. Our pride of saying we have such a huge informal economy, we need to start looking at how we bring more people into the formal economy, because this unlocks potential, stimulates consumption, and drives economic growth from the grassroots up. And I dare say with almost 240,000 mobile money agents, we have seen how the grassroots development is promoting financial inclusion.
That's the Managing Director of the Ghana Stock Exchange, Ms. Abna Amwa. Meanwhile, the German Development Corporation, GIZ, has assured of its commitment to improve livelihoods through the implementation of programs that build capacities and skills of business owners within the micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises sector. The corporation believes this will help reduce the level of unemployment in the country. Joshua Ahiamba is the Bono Regional Advisor of GIZ, and he spoke to City Business News on the sidelines of an event to support over 400 MSMEs in the Bono East and Ahafo regions with startup equipment.
MSME networking event and a handing over ceremony has been born out of two main events which we implemented last year. So last year, as part of the Program for Sustainable Economic Development, PSCD, we actually embarked on what we call the Business Idea Competition. The brain behind this Business Idea Competition was that we had trained a number of young people in basic entrepreneurship and financial literacy and had also offered them skills training. But we realized that there was a basic challenge where the young people had challenged with access to finance to start their own business. So we decided to come up with innovative models, innovative financing models, which will be best practices for others to follow. And one of such was to organize a business idea competition where young people had to come and pitch their businesses, present their business idea holistically and all that to convince the panel and the judges that yes, they could actually do this business, sustain it, grow it, and employ more people. The other program was the short-term skills training, which was part of a special project we called the Bono Project. And that was a project between GIZ and the Ministry of Employment and Labor Relations aimed at building the capacity of the Labor Department to be able to carry out their mandate effectively.
That's the Bono Regional Advisor of GIZ, Joshua Ahiamba. And finally, as part of efforts to meet the dynamic needs of consumers, PepsiCo, in partnership with Transmed Ghana Limited, has launched a new series Nectar range of juices in Ghana. The new beverages, which come in 5 flavors, in 1 liter and 200 milliliters pack sizes, promises to offer a satisfying and refreshing taste to consumers. Speaking to the media on the sidelines of the launch, marketing manager of PepsiCo, Karen Vesey, said the new range of fruit juices is designed to meet the expectations of the Ghanaian consumer.
We're launching Series Nectar because our consumers have said to us that in addition to the much-loved 100% range of the Buy series, they're also looking for a juice that is thicker and more fruity and slightly sweeter. So it really is because we are listening to our consumers and we are giving them what they've asked for. So as I mentioned, it's Nectar is really it's just an additional range of choice for our consumers. We have a large range of 100% juices, and as mentioned, there's the need for the thicker, more fruity blends, and that is what we have with the Series Nectar.
That's the marketing manager of PepsiCo, Karen Vesey. And that's it for City Business News on Eyewitness News, powered by citybusinessnews.com. My name is Netelinete Ajahu. Up next is Point Blank.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You know your papa see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, papa! Papa! Bobo, so how your engine now? It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Cause and you. Can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Tell you guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that? Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz. And he switched. Sancho Panza.
Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz?
No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer.
Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design?
It's superb.
Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency.
Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that?
Mr. Mane,
sorry. Chairman Mane. Chairman. Hey,
Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Point Blank tonight, we visit the education space. Before our main story, if you remember the young man by name Tyrone Maguire, that young man with the dreadlocks who had difficulty entering the Achimota school, was only admitted to Achimota after he won a court case against the school just because he carried dreadlocks. Now this boy has excelled so much in the school that is a member of the National Science and Maths quiz team. And in a post on the Achimota School Facebook page, the school says Achimota 96, hashtag Achimota 96. Last month, our NSMQ Ghana team participated in a trial session as we prepare for the upcoming quiz season. We encourage all members of our community to reach out to the team and help equip them for a successful season. And as part of the pictures they posted was a picture of Tyrone Maguire. Quite some food for thought for us. But substantively, on Point Blank, we bring you excerpts of a presentation by the West Africa Examination Council on a proposed grading system known as Stanine or Stanine. The grading system is meant for basic education certificate examinations, the BECE, and the presentation was delivered by the former head of test administration at WAEC, Felix Akufu Bedu. Let's listen to him.
Next 12% grade 7. Next 7% grade 8. The next 4% grade 9. So that if your word scores grade 1 at the BEC, all that means is that your word is in the top 4%. That's all. If your word scored grade 5 in any paper at the BEC, what that means is that your word is in the middle 20%. If your word scored a grade 9 at the BEC, what that means is that your word is in the lower 4%. That's all. That is all that it means. Okay, let's go on. So that's the way we compute the standard in the BEC. The standard grading system divides the normal curve into 9 segments. The segment represents fixed percentages under the curve, which are used to determine the grades of the candidates. So we have it there. 4%, 7%, 12%, 17, 20, 17, 12, 7, and 4, representing grade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And the writing is there. The fixed percentages used in determining grade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9 are 4%, 7%, 12, 17, 20, 17, 12, 7, and 4, respectively. So candidates who fall within the top 4% of the cohort for any subject obtain grade 1 in that subject. Those in the next 7% obtain grade 2. Those in the next 12% grade 3, and so on. That is all that you have for the BEC grading system. Now, the advantages of the system. The non-reference grading system, the standard grading system is a non-reference grading system, and it ranks and compares students in relation to one another. So the merits is that it's very easy to compute. no human interventions. You don't have to bring experts together to decide on grade cutoff points. No financial implications. And it gives you a quick understanding of where a test score lies. For instance, I said if somebody scores 5%, it means it's in the middle 20%. That's all. If he scores grade 1, it means it's in the top 4% and so on. Then it's good for selection from groups of large applicants. But then it demerits. As you said, you cannot compare across years. So you can't say that your students for last year performed better than those for this year. No, you can't use the standard grading system for that. Then secondly, you can't use it to reward teachers and let them for improved performance. You cannot say that this year teachers have done better than those who taught them last year. You can't do that. So that's the performance statistics, which was captured by a committee in 1999. For every subject that you pick, 1999, if you pick English language, 4% of the candidates had 1, 7% had 2, 12% had 3, 17, 4, and so on. If you go to the following year, 1996, you're going to get the same statistics. 1997, same statistics. 1999, same statistics. Now, I asked ICTD to produce the statistics from 2018 to 2022 to see if it will follow what we have. And this is what they had. For every subject, grade 1, 4%, grade 2, 7%, grade 3, 12%, grade 4, 17%, grade 5, 20%, and so on. 2022, we had the same thing. So it means here, as you are here, you'll be able to predict the performance statistics for the 2023 examination. Let's move on. So we did say that the underlying assumption for the use of the standard grading system is that the scores of the target population should be normally distributed. They should be normally distributed. And since the BEC had large candidature, we just assume that the scores will be normally distributed. But there are some subjects with low candidature, especially some of the Ghanaian languages. So those ones, you are not going to get a normal distribution there. And Keyata noted in 2000, Keyata was the head of research department in the Ghana office there. He said that unfortunately, over the years, the distribution of scores for some subjects are skewed either positively or negatively, making it unsuitable for the standard grading system. That is it. And these are the curves that you have. We expect that for every subject, the distribution will be normal. We expect that, we expect that we're going to have the normal distribution for every subject. And for the normal distribution, we expect the mean, mode, and median to be at the same place. Unfortunately, this is not so. If you take the negatively skewed distribution, if the paper is very easy and you find the candidates doing very well, you can see that the mode will be right. So it will be skewed to the left. If the candidates, if the paper is difficult, then the mode will be on the left. That's most of the candidates will find on the left, and it will be skewed to the right. And we'll give you some samples there. We haven't put any here there. But if you take a paper like French, French is a paper that the candidates do very, very, very well. So to get 1 in French, you should be scoring, for a particular year, you have to score more than 92. So you score 91 for French that year, and you drop to maybe grade 2. Then if you come to English language, You can see English language is positively skewed. So with a score of 60%, you hit grade 1. 60%, you are in grade 1. Whereas you have to score 92% to be in grade 1 in French. Mathematics will give you about the normal distribution. Mathematics is very close to the normal distribution. You are about 79 to 100, giving you grade 1. You have 0 to 13, grade 9. And for grade 5, you're going to have 36 to 46. So you can see that for French, grade 5 is 62 to 71. That 62, if you have 62, you will not score grade 1 in, what do we call it, in English, and so on. It could be reduced to ensure more valid results. This was in 1994. The last recommendation there, the committee and the ministry and the GES accepted it. They requested for the review of the weighting ratio from 60-40 to 70-30. That one was accepted. Good. Again, in the year 2000, there was another committee report. This committee was set up by the GES late 1990, and Professor Achampon, the late Professor Achampon of the Math Department, was the chairman. There's another Professor Achampon from University of Cape Coast, who was also on it. There was one, Dr. Mriku, who was there. Mrs. Achampon, Mrs. Adu from WAIC was on that committee, and so on. That committee noted the challenges with the standard grading system, that's the norm reference, and the merits of the criterion reference grading system. Then they requested for trial testing. They requested for trial testing with the criterion reference grading using the school set GC O-level procedures and SSE then procedures. And with the criterion reference grading, they are designed to measure a student's academic performance against some standard or criteria. And this standard is predetermined before the test. So here you have a standard, the candidate should be able to meet that standard before you give him a grade 1. Unlike the norm reference test for the standard grading system where it's yet the percentages. Even if you score 25 and you are the best candidate, you score a grade 1. Good. So let's move on. And this was the trial testing results. For English language, 0.8% of the candidates obtained grade 1 using the new test. Whereas if you were using the standard score, 4% of them would have got it. For mathematics, only 1.2% of the candidates obtained grade 1. Whereas if it were the standard grading system, 4% of them would have obtained it. For general science, 0.5 obtained grade 1. Whereas if we were using the standard system, 4%, and so on. If you come to grade 2, for the new system, 2.3% of the candidates were going to score grade 1 for English against 11% using the old system, that's the standard. Then grade 2, 1.3% of the candidates for mathematics will score grade 2, whereas if it was a standard grading system, 11. Then for general science, 1.6% of the candidates were going to score grade 2. If it were general science, 11, and so on. Now let's come to the lower grades. If you come to grade 9, 19% of the candidates would have scored grade 9 in English language if we were using the new system. Whereas with the standard, it was only 4%. 26% would have scored grade 9 in mathematics, whereas standard, it was only 4. 23% in general science, standard, it would have been only 4. So that was it. And when you look at the cumulative percentage passes at grade 2, 6, and 8, If we were using the standard grading system, grades 1 and 2 will give you 11% of the candidates. If you are using the new grading system, that's what we're using for the O-levels and what we're using for the WAS now, only 3.1% of the candidates will be in that bracket. If you go to mathematics, only 2.5% of the candidates will be in that bracket. Whereas if it was standard, it would have been 11. And for general science, only 2.1% of the candidates would have scored grades 1 and 2. If it were standard, it would have been 11. Now, when we come to grade 6, cumulative passes as at grade 6, that's from grade 1 to grade 6. If you are using the new system, 44.1% of the candidates would have been in that bracket, whereas if it were the standard, 77% of them would have been in that bracket. If you come to mathematics, grades 1 to 6 would have been only 23.3%. Standard, 77%. Grade 1 to 6 for general science, 24.7%. Standard would have been 77%. Then if you come to grade 8, 81% of the candidates would have scored from grade 1 to 8. Standard, 96%. Mathematics, 73 would have scored from grade 1 to 8. Standard, 96%. In general science, 76.7% of the candidates would have scored grade 8, whereas standard will give you 96%. The analysis of the 1999 results with the new grading system indicated that in all subjects, the majority of the pupils were lower in the lowest grades. That was it. So this was the recommendation of the Professor Champon Committee in the year 2000. Adopt a flexible 9-scale grading system that will reflect variations in the performance of pupils from year to year. That's the criterion reference grading. And this recommendation were expected to take effect from September the year 2000. But the standard grading system remains. So I'm sure you all know why we are still using the standard grading system now. Good. But then, the WIC conducts the DEC on behalf of the Ghana Education Service. And all policies about the BEC are made by the GES or in special cases by WIC in consultation with the GES. But the WIC, however, has a responsibility to ensure that procedures are in place to ensure fairness to all candidates. And as we said, the certificates are issued in the name of the council. So the credibility of the certificates has a direct effect on the reputation of the council.
The former head of test administration at WAEC, explaining the grading system or the new grading system of WAEC for the BEC. This is how we conclude today's edition of the program. Came to you live from our studios at number 11, Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka and Accra. Earlier you heard Akosia Ochiri. Technical assistance given by Daniel Squashy. Show produced by Nana Kobna Wells in Beverly, London. My name is Salom Adonu. Make a date with me tomorrow at 9 a.m. on The Big Issue, where we discuss the topical news stories for the week. Up next is Sports Panorama with Benjamin Nketia and the boys. Have a good evening.